Whoops. Sometimes it's really hard to hit the button before. I wish there was an option where you could just go live and it plays the opening, but we don't have that. But welcome back, my friends. Another edition of Drunk on Broad. Rich and Don are here. I don't know where Nick is. I haven't heard from him. He updated his trade block in fantasy, but I haven't heard from him. But hopefully he joins us. Oscar is in a little decompression. Work's been tough. So it's just me and Don holding it down. Don, how you feeling?
Doing good. Doing good. Not as I'm trying to stay in that mindset of realizing that this is a game-to-game, week-to-week thing.
What's up, Adam?
What's up, Adam? So not trying to get too high. I think everybody saw the first game and said, holy shit, we got to raise our expectations. This team is better than it could be.
Mike knows.
Yeah.
Mike knows.
Absolutely. Mike knows.
You guys like Mike don't know, Mike knows.
Fuck the Phillies. Fuck Ben Simmons. Fuck Spike Eskin. Fuck them all.
Fuck Spike Eskins. Rich Paul. I don't care. Not RuPaul. RuPaul's a good person. I like RuPaul. But I'm over.
But I think I have to stay in that mindset of realizing that the expectations for this team are to grow. There were a lot of things that I saw in that game that I liked. There was a lot of stuff I saw that I didn't like.
Yeah.
But if you would have told me that this defense held that team to 17 points, I'm happy with that. Am I disappointed at a bunch of other stuff? I'm disappointed. But they left too many points on the field, and that goes into a bunch of the stuff that I don't like. I didn't like some of the play calling, especially in that the play calling that really puzzled me, and the thing that kind of drove it home. I saw one of the Baldy breakdowns where he was looking at that stretch of 4 plays at the goal line.
Yeah.
And when I saw it through his eyes, like even just through my eyes, I'm sitting there with my father-in-law and we're looking at it and we're like, all right, stop being cute. Like, just get the ball in. Like, fastest point is a straight line, right? Get to the end zone.
Why didn't they call just Jalen Hurts' number just to take a direct snap and just go straight up the middle? Why are you calling the Philly special? Like, 1, that's stupid. 2, honestly, I never want to see that play done again, ever in the history of Philadelphia Eagles. Like, that is like it's to me, it's stupid because it's such a historic play in our franchise. And then you try to execute it and you can't against the 49ers. Like, you calling the Philly special is just absolutely dog trash. But before we move on, I want to talk about our sponsor, La Terrain Watches. Visit them at la-terrain.com. Use promo code DOB at checkout. Again, that's La Terrain Watches at la-terrain.com. Use promo code DOB. Pick up yourself a nice watch. Great sponsor. Good people. Pick up a watch. Pandering.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Just one.
Not only was the play calling in that stretch suspect, but it was poorly executed.
There was no execution. That's why they couldn't punch it in.
So
that's the longest play of the year that is going to result into no points, probably in the NFL. A 91-yard play gets you down there, and then you can't punch it in. Instead, you come out and you look flat because you want to be cute. There's no need to be cute. Mike says, or Jordan Howard should be on the team for those situations. I don't even think that you need Jordan Howard for those situations. I think you just do a direct snap to Jalen Hurts and let him take it through the A or B gap. That's all you have to do. How do you not trust your offensive line when they're all healthy? Right. I believe Brandon Brooks was still in the game at that point. But even without him, I'm still confident that you could punch that ball in. It makes no sense. Why? Like, I'm very happy that the team stopped throwing these things called fade routes, because if you're not Devontae Adams, it doesn't work. So I'm
Yeah.
really happy that they don't throw fade routes. But why not try to set up like a quick screen, send somebody in motion, just a quick hit, a quick slant to Devontae Smith. These corners that we played against were practice squad corners. Yes, their linebackers are very good. Yes, their defensive line's very good. But they handled them very well.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is not afraid to call his own number. At that
No.
point in time, from the 6, you call your own number because you need to be the leader on that offense. You know that you need to get points here. So call your own number and run it in. Take it up the middle. I'm sick of the cute BS.
And I think that only happened. I think I saw something. I can't remember where I saw it or heard it, but the last like 20, 30 years, they went through all the plays that went for 90 plus yards, and only twice did it ever result in that drive where it had 0 points. And I think you had the opportunity. I think in a game like this that you know is going to be close, you have to take points. You can't come away from that drive without points. And that 4th down stop was the complete momentum changer. The entire life of that stadium drained out. And I listen, I wasn't there, but I could tell just it wasn't loud. It wasn't that nobody was getting in anybody's face.
Because the team was flat all game. That offense showed
flat.
you nothing. And that's the problem. You have a deep play down the sideline to Jalen Reagor who can't stay in bounds. Whether that ball should have been thrown, thank you, Mike. Thank you. Whether that ball was a good throw. It was a good throw. I give Hurts that. But I don't believe that Reagor was going to make that catch if he was in bounds because he can't go up and get it. I don't think he can go up and get it. You should be a half a step past that defender when you're that quick. I don't understand when he puts pads on, he's not that quick. Prince said it. Why do we always go against the opposite of defense's weakness? Since Andy Reid, it's hilarious. You're right. Run the ball up the middle. You don't attack their linebackers. You attack the outside. All we had to do was attack the outside. We tried, but we failed to execute. Why are we running quick slants? I don't understand why we can't just do a quick hitter. Get the ball out. No scoring deflates the team. The game changed after that 91. All these points are correct.
Yes, everything's correct. Like, and that's, listen, Rich, that's one of the things that I liked was that they took shots down the field. Now, at the same time, though, that's also a negative in the negative column for me because you played directly into their hand, right? They saw you have success against Atlanta going in the flat, running the short routes, getting Hurts in space. So they immediately said, we're going to take that away. And they forced the Eagles to play downfield. So you played, instead of letting the game evolve, right, and doing what you did really well last week and staying with what you really did well, you immediately said, well, we had success with this last week. We're going to do something different. And you played directly into their hands. So in one sense, I like it. I like that they're taking shots down the field. I don't like it because it played into exactly what the 49ers were trying to get you to do, which is
throw the ball, have an inaccurate quarterback with a mediocre arm trying to stretch the field. That is not his game. And I'm sorry for a lot of people who were trying to say, one was Jalen Hurts' arm ever a worry. It's been a worry since college. Have you not watched him when he was at Alabama and was benched in the championship game because he couldn't throw the ball downfield? That's where Nick Saban goes, all right, this guy's not it. Takes him out.
Yep.
Then the next year, he actually comes in. Why? Because they couldn't throw the ball. So Jalen Hurts ran around like crazy, and they ended up winning that national championship game. Then what happens after that? He leaves and goes to Oklahoma and has some of the best success with CeeDee Lamb, who played against the slot against terrible defenses. Yes, he had like 16 yards per attempt in college, but that was in the Oklahoma, which is in the Big Ten, which does not play defense. This is the problem that I had with Jalen Hurts. It's not that he's not a leader. It's the fact he has mediocre arm strength and it's hard for him to stretch the ball downfield. You've seen it multiple times. Quez was a great throw, should have been a half step ahead,
right?
And then he breaks it.
That
Rager,
that play should have been 6.
Too tight to the sideline. You have to. He put that in a position there where only his receiver could catch it, and I love that. But when your run receiver walks around and walks out of sidelines, I get it. Inaccurate quarterback. Thank you, full court. I appreciate it.
Right.
Inaccurate quarterback with 6 foot short wide receivers. It has nothing. See, I like having one big bodied wide receiver who can go up and get it. But at the same time, the fact that our wide receivers, everybody besides Devontae Smith, can't create space is a problem because that's footwork. You don't need every single ball to be a jump ball. I don't want to see a bunch of 50-50 balls because, one, the chance of you catching it, 50%, obviously, and the fact of you coming down with the catch and not getting hurt, because Mike Williams, one of the best 50-50 ball guys in the league, every time he goes up and puts his body on the line, he comes down and gets hurt. Right. There should be more plays designed for getting your wide receivers open and your wide receivers being able to create separation, which we still have a problem doing and which we've had a problem doing for the past 5 years. Where was Dallas Goedert? Where was Zach Ertz? Where was Miles Sanders? Full court brought that up. 13 for 55, 4.2. Not a bad day on the ground. But what happens when you're trailing? You stop giving the ball to your running back and you try to make things happen. You press.
I mean, and to go back to that, like to go back to the Miles Sanders piece, when I look back at like the notes that I was taking during the game, they went to Sanders early. They looked like they were trying to establish him as part of the game. And then all of a sudden they went away. They said, we got to put it deep. We got to go deep. We got to establish that deep play. Now, I just can't wrap my head around the fact that as integral as the tight ends were in the game at Atlanta and in that game plan, the fact that Goddard Goddard or Ertz, neither one of them get a completion until the middle of the third quarter. If they are a part of your offense, your job is to scheme and game plan and get them involved, not go away from it, because they were in that game. They had all the momentum. And the fact that they still had that momentum, even after they left 17 points on the board in the first half, between the blocked field goal, the Rager stepping out of bounds, and going forward on fourth down, right? They left 17 points on the board.
Yeah.
For me, I just can't wrap my head around the fact that you look at what you did well in week 1 and then go away from it. That, to me, the game plan, to me, didn't make a whole lot of sense.
None of it made sense. But that's the problem. That's the problem with terrible play calling. You can't overthink it and you can't get cute. I love the guys are saying Jai and Blunt or Bruisers need to be back. You need to change a pace guy. I don't think you can get a change of pace guy in this offense, and I don't think it's going to work. How many times you're going to try to get these big dudes to run out of shotgun? Getting these big guys going, and to me, if you're getting a bruiser, he still has to be quick. That's why I don't think a big back could work in this offense. I still really like the fact that San Fran runs with this thing called a fullback. I mean, those things are pretty cool.
Gainwell, he is growing on me, man.
Gainwell's
does a lot of stuff. He doesn't do anything exceptionally right now.
Yeah.
But he does a lot of stuff fundamentally well, right? He runs the ball. He hits the hole. He's straight ahead. He picks up blocks. He picks up blitzes. He does everything that you want that guy to do. To me, I like Boston Scott is obviously an afterthought in this offense right now. He's kind of off to the side. You had an opportunity. I think what people are struggling with now is they were in that game. They had an opportunity to win that game, and they just played shitty in a really short stretch of time.
I don't know why
You
they
know,
ran that stupid trick play. I still don't understand.
Especially on fourth down. And again, if you get a chance, go back and look at the Baldy breakdowns of that particular play. And there's nobody in, like, even on the Hurts rollout on third down, it's a one-man route with Ertz who's covered, and you got no other options. Sanders is running out in front of Hurts like he doesn't know what to do or who to block. And then on that play, on fourth down, you had no option to throw anybody the ball. So I don't, and forgive me, but I don't hate the call of that play more than I hate the execution of the play. Because if you're going to run that play,
it needs to be executed
in this town with the history of that play, in where it was used, and the integral role that play played in the game.
Yeah, it needs to be run
in that Super Bowl. Then it's got to be run well. You can't run it like that.
But it looked like a bunch of guys who had no idea what they were doing.
Correct.
And why is that? Like, why are you drawing up plays where guys are confused? Prince and full court, they want a big back. I'm fine with it. They get one. I just don't think it fits this offense. And I think it'll be a dead giveaway on a run. But, I mean, at the 1 and the 2, it should be a dead giveaway.
It should be.
Good, punch it in.
And you've got the horses
call his number? Why didn't Hurts call his number? That's what I don't get. You ran the ball 10 times for 82 yards and a touchdown. You're not afraid to do it. Audible out, call your number, and use Jason Kelce and move forward. I don't care if you do it 3 times. You have to get in the end zone. Or drum up a play that gets you in. Go straight. Go north to south. Stop with the east to west bullshit when you're at the 2. You attack them right up the middle. Let's talk about our defense. Our defense played well. Our defense played lights out very well. My big concern, not enough pressure on Jimmy G. Fletcher Cox just looks tired and gassed constantly.
Yeah.
Brandon Graham goes
really does.
Achilles. That's going to kill us. I mean, it's just it just gets thin. It gets thin out there. I love Hargraves playing well, but why is Fletcher Cox? It looks like he takes plays off, and then he just complains that he's not getting a holding call. It's like, dude, if you're the 1B defensive tackle in this league, you should be putting up monster numbers and never take a play off, because Aaron Donald will move you like it's his job. He just seems like he just doesn't want it. He just wants the holding calls. Like, he's there for show. It's like, dude, make a fucking impact, please.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the play that you're getting at the other positions on the defensive line, I mean, you're getting quality play, and that front is the reason why they were in that game early, right? And when I look at and I'm going to put the 2 really long drives aside, right? When I look at drive to drive, the defensive line was the best position group on the field.
They were.
By far. Outside of anything else, they did as much as they could to be able to get pressure. But credit to San Francisco, they game planned really well, right? They got their players in space. I like the fact that the defense, this is the second week in a row that the defense has held a really strong, I'll say really strong. They've held Kittle and Pitts to kind of very lackluster games.
Yeah.
So, that play is that's encouraging.
The linebackers played fairly well. But here's the thing that I hate. Our defense played so well, and they were on the field for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
How do you expect to win when you're on the field for 35 minutes?
that's those two drives, right? When you have a drive that is, what was it? It was 13 plays, and it took 9. It was a 9-minute, 13-play drive like that. You can't get. They can't get off the field. They just drove. They were just methodical and just going down the field and getting everything that they needed. That when and you know, if we're going to talk about something that we hate, like, can we talk about Barnett and how much of a
that stupid fucking
mother trucking
bonehead? Why did you have to hit him in the back? Why? You had the ball.
It was such a bonehead play.
Dumb.
They had two, and I'll never forget this. I wrote this down. 2 consecutive plays where San Francisco fumbles so they fumbled on 2 consecutive plays. But on those 2 consecutive plays, they gained 30 yards in penalties.
That's insane.
Right. So to me, that stupidity, I think if money were a non-issue, Barnett is an afterthought.
I don't even like Barnett.
As the 15th overall pick in that draft, he's severely underproduced.
He's done nothing. He spent all his sacks in the SEC being the sack leader. Like, that's all he did. Like, everything that he did is spent.
Oh, God.
He made it, and now he's terrible. It's just one of the things that irked me is I didn't want him back. And if he even remotely plays well, he'll come back, and I really don't want him. And BG being out now, it's like, okay, you Sweat, your turn, man. Step up. You just got paid. Like, we need you. Like, it just comes down to a lot with this offense and this defense.
Yeah.
I need to see more. I still need to see more from Jalen Hurts. The arm strength is a problem. We've talked about it for 2 seasons now. To the end of last season to this season. This is the same thing I'm talking. It has nothing to do with his leadership skills and the fact that he can run the ball 10 for 89 and a touchdown. They're the things that you love that are extra. But I need to see him hit more guys in stride, make more accurate throws. You can't be going against this fucking secondary 12 for 23. Like 12 for 23 against practice. I get their defensive line. I get Fred Warner and Bosa. I get it. But how can you not methodically pick them apart? Quick slants, quick outs. Do something to beat these corners. It should not be that hard, especially with the talent that you have. Like, wake up, Eagles. Like, you're week 2. I'm not in panic mode because it's only the second week. It is whatever. But I expected that. I expected them to win the game. I really did.
Yeah. No, listen, and everything that we saw in the Atlanta game told us that this was a winnable game. This was something that they were going to have the opportunity to win. But, Rich, let's be honest. If Hurts had the arm talent that we think that he should have,
he wouldn't have been a second round pick.
He's a top 5 pick because he's got all the other intangibles. So you, as the play caller, as Sirianni,
I don't think
you gotta be lockstep and say, we got to build around his strengths, right? His strengths are balls on the move. His strengths are put him in space. I mean, you saw it on that one drive. Granted, San Francisco's in kind of like a prevent, kind of let them move the ball down the field. But you saw him get in space and pick up chunk yards. You have to build that into what you do on a regular basis. And if you're good enough, then they are going to have to scheme for you to be able to do that. And I think I don't like the fact that they immediately went away from it and said, oh, we did that well, but they know that, like, it was almost like they overthought it. Like, they know we did that well last week, so we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something else, and we're gonna So, but here's the one thing. Let me real quick. The one thing that I liked that in the press conferences and all the other comments from Sirianni since the game, I like the fact that he's holding himself accountable.
As
That
he
he said
should.
that right. But I mean, listen, Rich, how many times have we seen players and coaches and whoever make
Never.
excuses?
I love accountability.
Right.
I just
So
expect
so the fact that he's being accountable for himself and saying, I gotta be better, I gotta put the players in better position, I gotta call better plays. I like that.
I do too. I just
So that
have my expectations of them being mediocre, which is fine right now because after week 1, I was hyped. I don't think that they can be better than that. I think that the overreaction would say, hey, these guys are a wild card team or they're a contender, because I really don't think they are in a division that is up for grabs. Jalen Hurts can't be 12 for 23 against practice squad guys.
Yeah.
Fletcher Cox needs to step up and be better. But what I want to see, this is the thing that I don't get, and this is the camera angle that I love, is that camera that's right behind them like they do on Monday Night Football, so you can see what's going on.
right. The one that looks like it's on a drone.
I want to know, is Jalen holding on to the ball too long, or are his receivers not getting any separation? Because I can't see that from the camera angle that we have. Because sometimes he holds onto the ball too long, then he's scrambling out of the pocket to make things like what. And I don't understand, why are the Eagles wide receivers the only receivers in the league? Like when you see like, oh, Aaron Rodgers breaks down a play. I'm just saying it's Aaron Rodgers, but when he like has a breakdown of a play, Devontae Adams somehow always gets open, but we end up like throwing the ball away. But Devontae Adams will like be open 40 yards down the field. Is it just because he's that good, or do they not play the whole, okay, well, here's what you should do if a play breakdown and he's rolling to the right? Or like, what is it? Is it just like they don't have the schoolyard mentality? Are they not getting open? Hurts holding the ball too long? These are all questions that I want to see answered, and I can't with the camera view. And that pisses me off because I love that Monday night camera view.
So I'm not sure where like you the all 22 camera angle that you're looking for is available. I'm not sure if that's part of like a package of some sort.
I'm not paying for
it. But we should. but we should. But we. I mean, listen. I totally get what you're saying. In terms of when that play breaks down, what are our receivers doing?
Are they breaking?
Are they? Now there was one play, I think it was in the third quarter, where they ran like almost like a scissors route, where they had somebody in the slot and somebody outside, and they kind of cross.
Yeah.
Right. And Hurts threw the ball to the receiver that was cutting inside.
Okay.
But the receiver, instead of running the route in front of the DB, so he's coming across into the middle of the field, but he runs the route behind the DB. So, like, is that scheme? Is that just poor route running? Like, I don't know, because it made the throw for Hurts that much more difficult, because now Hurts has to throw it over top of the defensive player instead of the receiver coming and cutting that route in front of the defender going in towards the middle of the field. That's the kind of stuff that I have to want to go back and look at.
I rewatch the game through different eyes and actually like just watch and see what players are doing. Mm-hmm. So I would like to start doing that, Don. But let's put this week to rest. It's over. It's done with. The Birds, it happens. Dos Fordonius. Moving on to our Monday night prediction. Your Philadelphia Eagles are at the hosting Dallas Cowboys for Monday Night Football. Oh, man. This is going to be fun. Don, go ahead. Start it up, buddy.
So let me preface this real quick. Just so I can hold myself accountable. So the guys at Fired Up, Mike and Dom, they've been making picks every week against the spread.
I saw you.
So I've been sending them stuff in, right?
You're a mush.
This week for me sucked on every level.
You had a bad.
I lost. Not only did I lose the fantasy football.
Oh, we'll talk in a second.
But I lost. I lost against the average. So now I'm in last place, 0-4. I lost my school fantasy football, and I lost all 5 picks that I made with them. So I I want I just want to make sure we're all on the same level when I make this when I make this prediction. Um, I don't see a win for them. I see a game where there could potentially be points, but I don't see a win for them. And frankly, I'm struggling to look at a win
for the next 4
before
weeks.
week 8.
Yeah.
Like you've got the Cowboys, Chiefs, Panthers, Bucks, and Raiders
Yeah.
in the next 5 weeks.
And
And
the Raiders
all of those teams are all playing well.
Yes.
So we're really going to have to dig deep to be able to find the positives in the next couple weeks. But as far as like this get like it's a Dallas week, so Dallas sucks. Forget you. But I think it's going to be one that I think they're going to go down there and they could struggle.
I will never, ever say that my Eagles will lose to the Cowboys. So I am taking to win. I am taking the Eagles to win. Will it be pretty? Probably not. I'm just hopeful. I want them to win. I can never say that they're not going to beat the Cowboys. Any other team, I can admit it, but never the Cowboys because I hate the Cowboys with a passion.
You know what? Fuck
CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper,
Birds.
Tony Pollard, Zeke, Dak can kiss my ass. You know why? Because it's Birds country, baby. It's all about the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's what, and seriously, and fuck
Rich, I'm going Birds.
You have to. Anybody else, take them. Against the Bucks, I'm going to say the Bucks. I'm never going to say my Eagles will lose against the Cowboys. I have too much pride because I will never, ever give those Cowgirls credit. I'm sorry, because then you got to give Skip Bayless credit, and there's just too much.
Yeah.
I think that our defense is going to be able to handle their offense. And I think that's going to be the turning point. I think that we are going to be able to shut down at least CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper. One's going to feast, one won't. And I think that's the biggest strength that we have is being able to shut down one wide receiver, funneling it to another position and letting them just eat. I think Zeke is going to have a hard time going up against this defensive line. Same with Tony Pollard. So they're going to have to rely on those slow tight ends. They're big boys, but they're slow. And I think Dak is going to make some mistakes. I think Hurts is going to have a better game. I don't think he's going to be great, but I think he's going to beat them with his legs. So I can see him rushing. I think he's going to rush for like 11 for 110 and 2. I really do. I think he's going to have some big runs. I think they're going to have some more design runs for him because that Dallas defensive line is terrible. I think this is a Miles Sanders Gainwell game. Try to control the clock, keep the ball out of Dallas's hands. So I'm going to say 21-18 Eagles.
Okay.
I just see it that way. Chris wants to know about fantasy football. In 4 leagues, I'm in first place. In 1 league, I'm in dead last. My team is trash. And then in the Golden Mike League, I scored a huge win over T-Will. So I was happy about that. I think I beat him by like 70 points. It was a good week. It was a real good week. But we're going back to the Cowboys game. I see too many things going in our favor. And if Sirianni is the coach that he says, I think he will be able to adapt. And I think the adapting will be keeping the ball away from that Dallas offense. Play to your strengths. You have a mobile quarterback. Use him. More direct. Right. More just design runs for him. Give the ball to Sanders. Give the ball to Gainwell. Quick outs. Quick slants. You don't have to kill them deep. Their corners aren't that good. But he needs to realize, like Gannon says, I don't have an identity for this defense. I just go by the strengths of our players. Go to the strengths of your players on offense too, Sirianni, if that's the case. Play to what Jalen Hurts does well. Play to what your wide receivers do well. Play to what your running backs do well. There doesn't need to be a set guy. I don't need to see Miles Sanders being the workhorse or Kenneth Gainwell being the workhorse. But play to their strengths. Don't put it's all about not putting your players in position to fail. So don't do that again. I think Sirianni will look at that and be like, okay, this is where I failed as a coach, and this is where we failed execution-wise as players, and this is what we do well. And that's how they win the game.
Figure out what they do well and maximize that. I like that.
This is a huge thing. Sorry, Dom. The inability to force turnovers. I don't understand why we can't get a fucking interception.
So that was on my positive and negative, right? The one positive is that they haven't turned the ball over in 2 games. The negative is that they also haven't gotten any turnovers
in like 8 years.
It feels like it has been that long. But I think, to harken back to some of the most notable games in Dallas, I think the games in Dallas that stand out for me, the reason that they stand out as wins was because of really important defensive plays and most importantly, defensive turnovers and touchdowns. So you know what, Rich, your positive vibes have swayed my negative thoughts and my negative mush mentality. And I'm saying there's a big defensive play. I'm saying there's a pick 6 by Slay to seal the game. And I'm going to go, let's go 27-17.
Cheers to that. I'll take that.
Now, Rich, on that note, your favorite Eagles-Dallas memory? Just that. Anything come to mind?
I'm trying to think, to be honest with you. I mean, I've seen a lot of Eagles whoopings. Probably with T.O., the T.O. game where he went nuts against Dallas.
I like that.
Because, I mean, there was nothing better than – I love watching players shit all over their former team, especially if it's a Dallas Cowboy. I don't care who it is. And when T.O. had his monster game against Dallas and the Eagles won. That's all I remember is, Donovan McNabb and the Eagles beating Dallas. And, just Dallas not being able to compete with us for so long. And now it's Dallas is trying to creep up and the Eagles are whatever they are now against the Cowboys in the past few years. Mm-hmm. Okay, granted, whatever. But we still have a Super Bowl in the modern era, not like the Cowgirls do. Playoff berths, playoff wins, and we've done them with backup quarterbacks. You paid Dak $40 million, and that dude hasn't won a playoff game.
Right.
Off to you, Dallas. That's smart. Yep. We got a guy Super Bowl for us, and he's been on 5 other teams since then.
Also true.
Fantastic.
I think for me, I look at 2 spots. I look at the pickle juice game was great. To go down there and do 40, and to win 41-14 and to really kind of stick it to them on the opening day of that season was great. And then listen, how can you talk about Dallas by not talking about that the 4th and none and stop them again and that those memorable moments.
Was that Marion Barber? Was that Marion Barber who they stuffed 4 times?
No, with Troy Aikman.
Oh, Troy Aikman. Oh, yeah, I don't remember that. No,
but where they that the calls by Merrill Reese and to think about those moments. The NFC Championship game where they open the game and they have the long run to score a touchdown. A lot, like you're saying, a lot of memories, but I think the thing that I look back at Dallas games and always look at is there's normally a really important defensive play that kind of flips the script. So I'm going to try to go with that.
Chris wants to know, Don, your favorite Eagles moments.
My favorite Eagles moments. I mean, let's put Super Bowl aside because I think that's all number one. All number one for all of us.
For all.
So I'm going to go to a game that I was at, and it was a preseason game that I was working when I was working on the Eagles grounds crew. But the game that T.O. plays in that preseason game where he connects with McNabb, where they connect on that very first play.
Cincinnati. I will tell you, I was there. I was sitting in the end zone.
that place was never louder.
Dude, it was so great.
It was
bro.
insane. It was crazy. For me, I want to try to pick up something that I was actually physically there for, and very rarely is a preseason game any more memorable. But I think that's one that
Huge. It was huge.
Yeah, it was huge, and the shame of it is
we were
that
all there at one time.
That they let egos get in the way. That stretch could have been incredible for this franchise.
You could have.
And the fact that the egos got in the way, and that they had the bad breakup and the sit-ups on the lawn and all that other nonsense, man.
Driveway sit-ups.
But it's a shame. It's a shame that didn't work out.
It ended
because
the way
that could have been incredible.
I'm gonna have to say Algie Crumpler getting destroyed and getting killed were two of my favorite moments, and that just stick with me. I can just remember them. But Don, it is time for our final thoughts, and I would love for you to lead us to the homeland.
So there's two things. The sad sack of lemons.
Welcome to Pettyville, bitches.
That is Ben Simmons. I can't stand the way that this has all broken down, the way that this has been handled, the way that he perceives what is actually happening. And the comments by Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal, and you have done nothing in this league to be able to say that you want to be out of here. You have done nothing. Your game has never changed since your first season at LSU. Your game has never evolved. You are still the same player that you were when you were sitting and on that court in Louisiana. Your game has not changed. Your game has not gotten better. And to me, you got so much love in this city. You got people cheering, standing ovations when you took a shot. Just because you took a shot, your standards for yourself have to be better. You have to want to be better. But what we have learned in this whole process is that he does not want to be better. What he wants is the pictures by his car and the picture by his pool and the trolling videos with John Wall.
Hollywood.
And all that he wants all of that, and he wants everything that comes with it. But I can't. I'm done. I saw the funniest video that I saw today was the guy that goes to faux light the jersey on fire, and then he goes, oh, and he puts the little note down and says Ben Simmons. Oh,
yeah.
And then he goes, no, sorry, fuck you. Like I'm just bye, just go, just like. But honestly, my hope, Rich, is that he rots. My hope is that he rots and
I'm here for
it. And I'm here for all of it. I'm here for every minute of it until the Sixers get what they want.
Do you think that coward will sit on the bench? I don't think that coward will sit on the bench.
He won't. No, he won't. He won't, and he won't show up, and he won't do anything. He can't face that. But I also think the media and the way that they've handled this situation, they can go forget themselves. It's such a travesty the way that they have handled it.
The word there is fuck themselves. I hope you.
Thank you.
Found it. Sorry, it was in my throat. I had to get it out. Down for it. Continue.
Fuck yourself, Ben Simmons.
I have nothing. I literally have
Deuces.
nothing. I have nothing left to say about him because it's just not worth it. I just
It's not worth the time.
like everything. And JJ Redick retired, and Ben Simmons needs to go.
Yeah.
I agree, Chris. I agree.
Absolutely.
Man, that was good, Don. Don, hats off to you, bud. My final thoughts, guys. Crazy times ahead for the Birds, for the Flyers. Hopefully, better times ahead for the Sixers and the Phillies. Let's just take a moment and actually be thankful that sports are back. We got sports. We got people in the stands. I love it. I love watching the games. But where was I going with that? This is why I had one beer, and I'm like, also throat's feeling a little funky. So the final thoughts got derailed. So yeah, I don't know where I was going. Those are my final thoughts. Just be happy. I'm happy fans are back. I'm just enjoying watching football. Fantasy football is fun. You guys want questions for next week? Obviously, we'll be recapping the big Eagles win at Dallas. The new hockey pod with Don and Jason coming out soon. Drunk on Ice. You can find that on this channel, and I'm trying to find out how we can stream it also on the Sports and Metal channel because it is a collaborative effort, and I'm so excited to see Don and Jason do this together. I think it's going to be great. Listen to our friends over Fired Up, Big T, Will, and Mike doing Full Court Press, Prince Blue, the Black and Blue Lies podcast. There's so much fun stuff going on, all about the Birds, whatever. We sent out a list yesterday. Don did after the WIP bullshit. Stop listening to that shit. It's just stupid.
Listen, what I will tell everybody is the same thing. We've been putting it out since early in the summer.
Yeah.
There is way too much good content being produced on this level that you don't really need that level. You don't need to go.
You don't need the shock pop.
Right. You don't need to go and turn the radio on. Here's what you need to do. You need to spend a half hour and do a little bit of legwork to find a bunch of shit that you're interested in.
Yeah.
If you like Flyers, go there are a zillion Flyers stuff. If you like Sixers, go do your work. Find a bunch of Sixers stuff. There's a bunch of stuff. There's so much good stuff out there. I'm telling you, if you do a little bit of legwork,
just a little bit,
you will find that the time that you invest trying to find the quality content,
do a little bit of Oscar, a little bit.
It'll be so much more worth your time because you won't feel like you listened to 3 hours of nonsense to get 30 minutes of content. Yeah. You can actually just listen to 30 minutes of content.
You don't have to listen to stupid fucking callers calling in, feeding these guys egos, because that's also quite annoying. Do your research. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
I'm not saying the P word. Don't go them because they pissed me off. Go Flyers. Go Sixers. Go Philly. Yo.
Yep.
Philly, be good, behave, be safe. Don Juan, Rich.
Deuces.
We will see you guys.
Peace.
It's all love, baby.
Peace out.
All love.